Hey y'all, this is old Jesse. I read John 8:44 this morning, where Jesus is speaking, Jesus, and he's talking about talking to the Pharisees, I think, with other Jews there, and he says, "You're of your father, the devil, or the slanderer, a murderer from the beginning." Okay, so there's a problem if this devil is Satan. That's not the first murder in the Bible. Like the snake didn't murder anybody. You could say, oh, well, by circumstance, he got somebody to disobey and then God cursed them. But it was God that cursed them, that cursed Adam and Eve. God, Yahweh, is the one that is responsible for death coming into the world. Not Satan. Not the snake. So that doesn't count because logically, like thinking about it properly, critically, is important. So the next murder that happens is Cain. And then there's a number of other murders that happen in the Old Testament until you get to until you get to Abraham. And the only folks that I think that could be talking about is Simeon and Levi. And well, they lied about what they done to their father, and they murdered a whole town. Pretty much because somebody was cheating with their sister, and that's something to think about. Is like, okay, context in the New Testament is very important. Who is Jesus or Jesus talking about? Who's he talking to? And what's this about? You have to realize that the responsibility for priesthood through all the generations fell to the Levites. So if Jesus is talking to the Pharisees, then, and he says something like, your father was a liar, he's a slanderer, he's a murderer, look where it's coming from, okay? Look who he's talking about. He's talking about a whole tribe. He's not talking about a singular devil that didn't commit the first murder, right? Like that's kind of important information, thinking about it critically. I'm not saying that over time Satan's in the Bible haven't, via spirit, committed murder, because obviously, in Job, the Satan of Job was responsible for a number of deaths by usage of Yahweh's spirit, and the Satan in Israel, when Israel is being counted, whether that was an angel of God or Satan, is different in different passages, but that Satan also was responsible for a number of deaths, and there are other Satans that were responsible for deaths. Okay, but from the beginning, the Satan of the beginning, the little snake creature in the garden, did not commit murder. It was Yahweh that cursed mankind and caused death to come into the world. So, getting that straight, and then going to John 8:44 and understanding it in context. In context, it's talking about the Levitical priesthood and their progenitor father Levi. And the issue with that is Jesus is right when he said that. The priesthood of Levi did not do a great job over the years teaching Israel. They did a terrible job. And as far as a generational priesthood goes, they became oftentimes the very enemies of the God that they worshipped. You know, you look at Eli's sons. You look at Abimelech. You know, you look at all these priests that fell away, that invited pagan worship into the temple over the years, and that's awful. That's awful, awful stuff. That's what they did. They invited it in and said, "Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, that's bad." You know, and that was the Levitical priesthood. Generations and generations of that were responsible for ruining the Israelites, the Jews. So when you read John 8:44, and you think, oh, well, this is a supernatural Satan. Well, think again, because that's not what it is. It's a very natural Satan. It's speaking in context about a person and an entire priesthood that descended from that person. And I think that's the thing that we need to be careful of, is like just assuming we know like all the facts, because the preacher is like, oh yeah, Satan's out to make you do bad stuff, and when we really know that that's human nature is doing that. That's a human that's doing that, or your personal human nature that you're fighting against, your chaotic nature, and it has to be fought against. Otherwise, bad things happen. So that's something to think about, you know, and to consider, and just, you know, let me know what you think. All right, y'all have a good one. Like and subscribe.